This is Raspberry Lemonade, the Arnold Palmer of podcasts, a refreshing dive into the stories of industry professionals, both sweet and sour. And now your host, Mr. Levi.
Welcome back to another episode of Raspberry Lemonade. Today we have an amazing guest. We have Dexter from all the way in San Diego. Thank you for making that drive.
SD, absolutely. Yeah, I got you, man. Raspberry Lemonade, come on now.
Hey. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the conversation. The way that we were connected was through Brendan Boyd, which I don't know if you've had the chance to check out the episode on Raspberry Lemonade, but he dropped like some huge gems.
Yeah, I seen parts of his.
Yeah.
Yep.
And like just his stuff, he really drops a lot of value. So, I trust anyone that he refers to come on the show, and looking forward to like learning what it is you do exactly. Because I saw on your kind of roster, you there was quite a bit on there.
Yeah.
So,
is that
would you like to
IG?
tell us? Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Would you like to tell us like what is it that you do, or what? Yeah, let's start there.
Yeah, so I run a digital marketing agency in San Diego, California, and we specialize in search engine optimization. We help local businesses get ranked on Google. We help them get more visibility, ultimately, so they can drive more traffic to their business and grow. And that's something I've been doing for about almost 3 years going on now, about 2.5 years. But then I also have a coaching program where I teach people how to break into information technology. My background is in information technology and tech. I'm a systems administrator by trade. And what we do in the coaching program is, we teach people how to start in the industry, break in, and then ultimately help them level up their career so they can make more money and achieve financial freedom.
There you go. Information technology, for those wondering, yes, that is IT.
Yes, tech.
I learned that with episode 3, that guest on that episode. We talked a little bit of that industry. It's huge, man. Like there's I didn't realize like there's so many different kind of branches that come out of like just IT, right?
Absolutely.
So in your case, it's on the software side then, or what do you focus on?
So I'm more on what people kind of would consider the server side or infrastructure.
Gotcha.
I'm not somebody that sits on a IDE or a programming software that programs all day. That's not what I do. Although I do, I do light scripting. I do a little bit of programming for tasks that we need, but nothing crazy. Like I'm not a software developer. Gotcha. It's a different area. Systems administration is more around the maintenance, the upkeep, installation, and keeping these IT systems running over time. So I think that's like the big delineation from like the software side and the application side, as opposed to like infrastructure and systems administration. So
Gotcha. Okay. And then how long have you been having your business, like the current one that you have?
So I have, technically it's 2 businesses. I have the digital marketing agency that has been since February 2021. So
a couple of years.
Yep. So that's a digital marketing agency. And then my new coaching program, we just launched it in January, where we launched the masterclass. And recently in the last 2 months, we just launched the new academy.
Okay, so congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that. It's been a journey, man. It's been a journey getting everything up, but it's really cool seeing like people come in and starting to take more advantage of like the resources, and it's really cool working with everybody. So yeah.
That's really awesome, man. That's something that I would like to do down the line. I don't know what the heck that would look like yet, because, and this is just me speaking for myself. Maybe you could give me some advice. I don't know.
Yeah, sure.
I know I am like a jack of all trades, master of none. Where I
feel like a lot of us entrepreneurs
right,
are that.
you kind of have to be. You have to know a little bit of a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
With that said, I think I'm slowly finding my way into like what it is that my thing is that I can say I'm an expert at, or that I can show that I in fact am an expert in a certain area.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess keep keep trying stuff and seeing what it is that may be for me, and then be able to create something like that. Like that's, to me, I would love to be able to like show up and record videos that are going to help people change their lives.
Yeah.
Get closer to their career goals or whatever, business goals, whatever the case may be.
Absolutely.
So the fact that you're doing that, man, I look up to you for that.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Like, I just feel like that, there's a lot of great people out there that have information, and like, I'm not to say I'm, the best, the smartest, but I do know that I have a value to give to the world. And like, some of the stuff that I'm learning from some of my coaches and mentors is that you become kind of obligated to kind of go back and give back. To me, I feel obligated to give back to the tech community, because like before I got into tech, I really didn't have a clear path of like, what is my passion? What's that thing that I really want to do? And I just feel like tech gave me that opportunity, and it changed my life forever. So like I'm obligated now at this point now. I have to. I feel like everybody in any industry, you got to go back and give back to people, because ultimately that's how you're going to get more. That's how you're going to get more. The more you give, the more you get back.
Exactly. What made you make that decision? Like, I think if I put together this program, people are really going to benefit from it. Where does that come from?
I believe that came from me really like digging deep on, I had my digital marketing agency at first, and like, it's good, it's fine, I love it, and I love doing the work, but at the same time, me really just understanding that I could deliver more value, like having that realization. And I think it was me really going through, working with other mentors and coaches and seeing like, you can really have an impact on someone's life if you can work directly with them. And I think it was really those experiences of working with different coaches, mentors, entrepreneurs, and really realizing like, wow, like you can go back and like help a ton of people. Like you can like actually like, and you can turn it into something that is really impactful. Digital marketing is cool. Running my agency, that's cool. But I just know that I'll be able to have a longer and lasting impact in the vehicle of being able to teach people to break into tech.
Yeah.
That's where it came from.
Gotcha.
So that's kind of conjured up.
That's amazing, man. Let's what do you say we get into the part of the podcast where we get to know the people, behind the business.
Yeah.
We really like to get. Sometimes we've gotten very deep and very personal. Not gonna lie, so just brace yourself. I don't know how much you'll feel comfortable sharing, but
yeah.
What was little Dexter like? What's your background, your upbringing?
Yeah, background. I was a bad kid.
You were a bad kid?
I was a bad kid. I was always getting into something, man.
You kind of look like a troublemaker. No, I'm just kidding.
Hey, man. I was a bad kid, and I used to run around, but I was always curious though too. I was always curious. I like to take things apart, put things back together. I think that's kind of where my interest in like technology started, and working on computers. Just really, I remember one time my mom bought a Dell computer back in 2001 when AOL was really popping. People started getting internet in their house, and we had a Dell computer in there, and we got dial-up. And man, I probably took that computer apart maybe at least 5 times. Like just took it apart for no reason and then put it back together. Literally for no reason.
This was you as a kid?
This was me probably when I was it's probably 11, 12.
You were 11.
Maybe 10, 11, 12-ish. And then when I was younger, I just used to like to play outside a lot. Bad kid. stirring up trouble in the neighborhood, man. You know me.
So you're like an instigator or something with the kids, or what?
More so, I used to just find things to like get myself into. Like I would look for. I would hang out with the wrong people.
Mm-hmm.
I would literally just find bad things, and I would influence other people to do it with me. Like, man, let's go throw some rocks at this window.
Yeah, let's go. So it's safe to say that you were kind of like a natural born leader. You know, maybe
I guess
maybe the
yeah,
energy wasn't going the right direction at the time, but
there was some energy going.
yeah.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Right? So now I'm trying to see like what you think about how, you know, how your childhood shaped, you know, who you've become now, and how maybe even little details like that you think that have followed you now into your business and have helped your business.
Yeah.
What would you say those characteristics are?
I would say probably the number one thing is my curiosity. Definitely that trait. Every industry or every job I've ever had, I've always been one to be like, all right, this is the job, but like, what are they doing over there? And like, what's going on over there? And I felt like that has served me very well along the way. Just like being someone that's curious, you start seeing the world for a bigger view of the world, as opposed to just being like, you know, focused on only your job, your role. I think that served me very well. I wouldn't have, you know, I probably wouldn't have thought to, you know, create a digital marketing agency.
So
you
like
know,
outside of the box
It's
thinking.
outside of the scope of what most tech people are kind of that they do.
Yeah.
They're not into their marketing. Most tech people don't want to be on camera. They don't want to be in the limelight. They don't want to, like, that's not. But for me, I think it was the curiosity of connecting some of the technology with marketing. That's what kind of got me curious. And I think if I didn't have that curiosity trait, then I wouldn't have kind of found out that, you know, I can leverage my skills in tech in the digital marketing space. So
Yeah.
little things like that, I would say.
That's awesome, dude. I am curious, what were you doing before this venture?
Before my digital marketing agency,
Correct.
I was working in tech. I was a systems administrator at an insurance company, and you know, I worked there. You know, my business started back in 2021, and I was still working there while I was starting up my business and running it. I was actually, you know, using a lot of you know, resources and, you know, taking the extra time to start up the business and kind of getting it going. So yeah.
Okay. So you've kind of always been in tech then? You never worked like at McDonald's, anything like that?
Never had a McDonald's job.
No? I thought this was like a true origin story. No, I'm just kidding. No, that's cool, dude.
I never had a McDonald's job, but you know, before I was in tech, I was a table games dealer.
What is that?
So like, you know, people that
like
work in casinos,
yeah.
they deal cards,
what?
they deal roulette. I pretty much dealt every game except roulette.
Huh.
I dealt every game
That's
except roulette.
different. I've never heard that before.
Yeah, it was interesting times. Like, you know, being a table games dealer taught me a lot, just about like, you know, really being, I guess, kind of disciplined, how you kind of handle yourself with money, and kind of how you just conduct yourself. And you know, I think that time, you know, being a table games dealer, it's stressful. Like, I'm gonna be honest, it's a stressful job.
How so?
I mean, you're dealing with a lot of money, a lot of like money, and it's direct money, and it's fast. It's fast paced, so the level of responsibility is like,
You got to be on top of your game.
Right. But it was great. I loved it. But then, you know, I felt like the casino vibe for me just wasn't it. Like, you know, you got the smoke. You know, people are a little
Tipsy.
People can get a little crazy. Yeah. But for me, like, I just felt that, you know, I was making good money. I felt like that was cool. That was was a thing, but I was like, man, what is my passion? I was like, what's the thing that I want to do long term? This is maybe around 2016, going into 2017. Like I was like, what is that thing I really want to do? Like what's something that I can start like investing in and going hard in? And that's kind of when I started really like doing like identity, thinking like, okay, what's my identity? What's my passion? What's this thing? And I realized like, oh wow, I can actually like turn my interest in computers and like technology, like people do that for a job. Like I can actually get paid to do that.
Right.
At the time, I didn't even think that it existed. I had no clue what tech was, no clue what IT was.
Yeah. How old were you during this time of like, well, what is it that I want to do?
Yeah, I think I was about 23.
23. Okay.
Yeah, 23, 24.
What would you advise?
29 now.
You're 29?
Yeah.
It's been a few years since then. What would you advise to someone who's in that season of their life where they're like trying to figure out what their thing is?
Yeah. I would say, this is what I always tell people now, like if you're thinking about like a career shift or a transition, or some big leap, is try to leverage skills and knowledge that you already have to catapult your way potentially into a new industry or that new venture. Because a lot of times we have skills that we don't even know are actually valuable skills. Yeah. And if we can just like dig deep on that and really think to ourselves like, okay, maybe it was like, for example, maybe you grew up in a family where you had parents that were like mechanics, right? And I think for like somebody like that, you probably have more knowledge about cars than like the average person. Yeah. Period. So it's like, even though that you've never been a mechanic, but you just have family members that have always been talking about it or things like that, is try to leverage skills that you might already have and dig deep on it. Don't just be like, oh, I don't have any skills, because everybody does that. Yeah. Oh, I'm not good at anything.
Right. I hear that a lot.
Think deep. You got to go deep in it, and you'll find something. Most def.
That's some solid advice, man. Yeah. Anyone out there listening, listen to the wise words of Dexter here.
Is your revenue stuck? If you're an entrepreneur and your revenue is stuck, you don't need to fix your products or services. You need new audiences to discover you more consistently. Podcast guesting is the ideal way to be discovered 24 hours a day by your ideal clients. And guess what? The more people that know you, the more people can flow you. Head over to podcastmasterypack.com and take advantage of your first or next podcast. Let's go.
What do you say we get into now the sweet and sour stories? Let's start with the sour. Whether personal or on the business side or whatever it is that you would like to share, what's been one of the hardest things, one of the most sour either moments or seasons that you've had to go through up until now?
Yeah. I would say for me, it's, over the last couple years, I've, me and my daughter's mom, we split up, and I think for me, a lot of my drive and push comes from me just wanting to kind of just have that perfect life with my daughter. And I think that for me, it's always been challenging, trying to battle the limitations of time and your ability to try to do everything and still be a good dad. And I think for me, that's probably been one of the biggest challenges, in my life, period. Yeah. And I know that, like, I always tell people, like, when you're on an adventure to do something or you're trying to do something great, make sure you have not only just like the goal in place and the thing that you want to achieve, but like tie it to a purpose and a reason. And so for me, I tie everything back to my daughter. Like it's like my success just means everything to her, and that's all that. Yeah. That's all that kind of matters to me at the end of the day, and that's why I do what I do every day.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, that sounds
Hopefully
like
I answered the question.
I'd say so. It's I'd say it's a pretty common thing nowadays, you know, where that situation happens. Yeah, I could only imagine it being very challenging. You know, growing up, I had friends that only had either or of, you know, the parents at home, and sometimes they would confide in me like it's a different life. Like they would tell me like you just don't understand what it's like. I'm like I really don't.
Yeah.
You know, but you find a way to push through and kind of circumnavigate that situation.
Absolutely.
And like you said, you know, you found your purpose with your daughter, and I think that's what a lot of parents tell me, that the only reason why they haven't given up on XYZ is because of their kids.
Yeah.
They're their biggest motivators.
Yep. And like, man, so many, like, you have to. I feel like anybody that is like doesn't take care of their kids, like abandon their kids, like that's just not. It's just not cool, man. You can't do that.
It's not cool.
That shit ain't cool, bro. Like just on the real, and it's. I couldn't even imagine how, like, you know, someone would do that. And in the same right, it's like if that's the thing that does motivate you, like let it, you know, like don't hide from that. Like, because I think sometimes people will not like actually, they don't want to step up to the plate. It's that simple.
Yeah.
Like,
do you think that, you know, since we're already in the conversation, for those parents that do unfortunately kind of abandon, or maybe not even abandon necessarily, but yeah, even emotionally abandon sometimes, you know, they might be present, but they're not really there.
good point. Yep.
Would you say them doing that comes from a place of maybe selfishness?
You know,
Or what do you think it is?
I think now that I'm older, I think it comes more from just a repetitive cycle of, you know, kind of bad programming, like bad, you know, upbringing, and ultimately I feel like that ends up kind of getting carried over to the next generation, and like people become more okay with, like, you know, being okay with like split households, so they're more susceptible to kind of not exactly trying to make things work. They're just, I think a lot of the times that's what ends up happening, and that's just what I see like in the sphere of the world. It's just like, I think that's mostly what it is. I don't think actually people consciously like want to do it a lot of the times.
Yeah.
I think it's more so just out of that habit. But really, at the end of the day, it comes back to like, that shit ain't cool.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
I'm
like,
just being
you can't do that to your kids, right?
like
Whatever is going on with the adults, like that's one thing, but yeah, I would agree with that. Like you gotta continue to giving your kids the absolute best possible scenario.
exactly.
So that they could turn out to be at least okay, you know?
Yeah.
It might not, you know.
That's very well said.
Right?
It's giving them that environment that nurtures the best possible outcome for them, and yeah, I agree.
All right. Now let's set the coin here and go into the sweet story. Since you started your businesses, what has been one of those like, ooh, I'm on top of the world right now moments, or
Yeah.
that, you know, oh man, the fact that such just happened, like, you know, just fills my heart, or
Yeah.
what has that been for you?
I think the biggest those feelings for me, I feel like it comes from client like testimonials, hearing like the stories and hearing how like what you do actually affects people. When you hear that stuff, I feel like that is like it's like the holy grail of being an entrepreneur and like a business owner, at least my opinion. that's what we should all strive for, is just really that customer satisfaction, and then hearing those things. So for me,
is there any specific situation that comes up to mind?
Yeah, I think the first one that comes to mind was my first SEO client, and just hearing some of the stories back from their business, like hearing them be like, oh, hey, we're buying new trucks, we're getting more business in, we have to make hires now, and you hear this stuff and you're just like wow, like it makes you full inside. It makes you know that you're doing the stuff that you need to be doing. So I think that one for me, hearing a story like that, also hearing a brand new business that launches and they're telling you like, hey, we've never been, like, we have a couple customers, but we can't really, like, we're not getting a lot of people hitting us up, and then walking into their business and setting up a site for them, and then they go through that experience of finally having an online experience or online ecosystem, and now they're starting to get leads, and then they're like, wow, this is awesome. Like, I think hearing those stories for me are that's the holy grail for me.
I mean, I'm sure it's always hard to describe feelings, right? But if you had to kind of choose a few words to at least give the essence of what you feel in those moments.
Joy. Joy. Satisfaction. I would say, it motivates me to want to do more, because I'm all like, all right, like, I already know now that I've solved one of your kind of problems, there's going to be another one. And how do we solve that next one, right? A lot of times in business, I think that's something that we don't always kind of consider, is like, you solve one problem, there's going to be another one.
There's always another fire.
There's going to be another one that you got to solve. And so I think that just motivates me when I hear the good news, though, because I'm like, okay, I know we're going in the right direction. Now, what do we have to execute on next so that we can, get you to the next, ultimately? Because,
Well, that's great, man. I'm really, really happy that, you've been able to put this together. Sounds like it's going very well.
Appreciate it, man.
And I also appreciate the fact that, you mentioned what makes you happy is getting that positive feedback from your clients.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of people out there who haven't really started their own business or working, you could say a common job. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Yeah.
I think that most people, kind of looking from the outside in, they would expect you to say like, oh, well, I make such amount of money, and and such and such is taken care of. But no,
it's not all about that.
It's not all about that.
It's not all about that. Like, I think, we all kind of get into business with that thought in our mind of like, I want to make some money, right? I'm straight, I want to make some money. But you'll quickly realize that, you'll quickly realize that you have to know how to deliver value at a high level, and it's going to be that value exchange that is really going to make you happy ultimately when that exchange happens, and then you get that feedback loop. It's not, the money's nice.
Yeah, I mean, of course we need money, of course,
but you gotta tie it, if you're going deep, you gotta tie it to another purpose. Otherwise you're gonna give up if it's just for the money. So yeah.
All right, that's some good insight.
Yeah.
Good insight right there. We'd like to end this show on a high note, a musical high note.
Hey.
So the second to last question that I have for you is, with how things are going right now in your life, in your business, if you had to choose your current life soundtrack, what song would that be?
Oh man, current life soundtrack.
That's a toughie, huh?
Yeah. I'm visualizing a song right now. I just don't know the name of it.
How does it go? What does it say?
It is to be honest, I don't know the artist because I just recently heard it, and it's a song that is on for you guys that are familiar with Russell Brunson and
Oh, nice.
and his community Funnel Hackers. There's a video at the beginning of one of his Funnel Hacker Live, and the song is, dang, what is the name of the song? I feel like I just want to sing it.
Dude, yeah, please, by all means.
What is it? It goes like, oh man, I'm gonna butcher it if I sing it. I feel like if I do it, I'm gonna butcher it.
I'm sure Russell will understand.
He's like, the song is all like, I will hold, I'm not afraid, you will not live this way. I think it's called Stand By You. I think that's what it's called.
Nice.
I don't know, just something about that song like motivates the hell out of me when I hear it.
Is it like hype?
Not really. It's more of like a spiritual uplift you, get you into that kind of mood. Maybe we can like throw a little clip of it in here. I think that'll be kind of cool. But I don't know. I listen to that song like when I'm about to, start a new project, start a new website build, or like maybe I'm gonna get on some important meeting. I'll listen to that.
Yeah.
Just to hype me up before.
Okay, we're gonna definitely check it out and see how we could go about plugging a little piece of it in.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool, dude. I'm gonna check that out. Last final question here. Where can people follow your journey as you continue on to the next thing?
Yeah. If you guys want to follow me, dblanco_12, pretty much on everything, on Instagram, YouTube, and if you guys want to learn more about how I help people break into information technology, actually want to kind of do something special. That's okay for the pod.
Absolutely, yeah.
I want to give you guys a free guide, and it's going to be essentially it's just a quick guide that'll show you 5 steps, 5 quick things that you can immediately do to start gaining experience to break into the industry. Because a lot of times people will ask me like, what can I do like right now?
Where do I start?
Yeah, it's like what can I do today? So if you DM me the word experience, I'll shoot you over that guide, and it's something that you can take advantage of right away.
Tell you what, I'll do you one better.
Yeah.
We'll go ahead, send me the link, and we'll plug it into the description of this podcast.
Okay.
That way people could just click it straight away.
How's that sound? Awesome. That sounds great. Appreciate that. Yeah.
Just for you guys.
Let's do it.
All right. Well, that's it, man. That's the end of the show today.
Thank you for having me, Levi. I appreciate it. This is awesome. Like, thanks for inviting me to this place. Like, it's walking in, it was an experience, and just meeting you. Like appreciate it. This is dope.
I appreciate that, man. I really, again, I can't thank you enough for making that drive, because I've made that drive to San Diego for podcasts, and it can be a little draining. So the fact that you were a trooper and like you came straight here and you just knocked it out, bro. Like I can't tell you how much I appreciate that.
Come on, man, raspberry lemonade.
Thank you so much, man. Yeah. Everyone else tuning in, thank you so much for tuning in, tapping in. If you got any value from Dexter today, please subscribe to the show, and make sure to also continue to follow his journey. Thank you so much. That's all. We'll see you on the next one.
That's dope. Hell yeah. Raspberry lemonade.
This has been a Redbird Studio Productions. Hope you've enjoyed the program.